When we think of the richest people in the world, names like Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, Bill Gates, and Gautam Adani might spring to mind. Of course, these are based on the most recent net worth figures, and can fluctuate at any given moment. But what if we were to really go back in time and tell you that the richest person of all time, while factoring in inflation, beat not just today's tech billionaires and shipping magnates of the industrial era, but also the world's greatest rulers, Augustus Caesar, $6 trillion US, William the Conqueror, $5 billion US, and Akbar I, incalculable, per the Times of India. According to historians, the richest person ever to walk the earth was a man named Mansa Musa, a 14th century West African ruler, whose wealth was simply indescribable and incomprehensible. Per the BBC, Mansa Musa was the Sultan of the Mali Empire. He was born into a family of rulers and came into power in 1312 AD when his brother Mansa Abu Bakr abdicated the throne to go on an extravagant expedition at sea. According to historian Sherbab al-Umari, Abu Bakr had always been fascinated with the Atlantic Ocean, and reportedly left with a fleet of about 2,000 ships with thousands of men, women and slaves, but he never returned. Mansa Musa became the 9th Sultan of the West African Kingdom, which was already considered very wealthy by the time he ascended. Historians estimate that the Mali Empire was at that point the largest gold producer in the world, owning more than half the world's total supply. According to the British Museum, with Musa on the throne, the kingdom only continued to expand phenomenally, thanks to his work in expanding trade in the region. His wealth continued to skyrocket from mining significant salt and gold deposits, as well as trading elephant ivory, as stated by National Geographic. It wasn't just the salt and gold that contributed to Musa's riches though. Under his rule, the kingdom grew immensely, stretching over 3,000 kilometers, 1,864 miles, from the Atlantic Ocean to modern-day Niger, annexing over 24 cities, including Timbuktu. It was reported that he had never lost a battle and, in many cases, territories joined the Mali Empire willingly due to the higher quality of life. Some estimates put Mansa's modern-day net worth at $400 billion US to $500 billion US, though it can be difficult to fairly calculate a fortune based on gold, salt and land. Many historians, however, agree that his wealth was richer than anyone could describe. Nevertheless, Mansa Musa will be remembered not just for his mountains of gold, but also for his generosity and commitment to his Islamic faith, promotion of education and financing his empire's greatest cultural developments. The other question which comes up to our mind is, what did he do with so much money? Ultimately, he used most of it to build a great number of mosques. Legend says he built one every Friday during his reign, the most famous of which is the Jingarabur Mosque. He also commissioned several universities throughout the kingdom. Many of these historic buildings, both the schools and the mosques, are still standing today, some 700 years later. While Mansa Musa was alive, his investment in Islamic education in Mali drew scores of Muslim scholars, poets, and artisans to his empire. They congregated in Timbuktu, which quickly became known as one of the most prominent cities in the Islamic world. In other words, today's richest people don't even have half of Mansa Musa's net worth that he accumulated as emperor all those centuries ago. This has led many experts to believe that Musa was the richest person in history. But to this day, many still struggle to comprehend the true size of his fortune. Contemporary accounts of Musa's wealth are so breathless that it's almost impossible to get a sense of just how wealthy and powerful he truly was, said Rudolf Busch-Ware, an associate professor of history at the University of California. In the end, historians find Mansa Musa's legacy rich not only because of how much money he had, but how he used it. And while his wealth may have been indescribable, he was clearly happy to share it with others.